Hey everyone, welcome. So today, let's try something different. Instead of looking at Buddhism as just a religion, we're going to break it down as something else entirely. A system. A systematic, 2,500-year-old problem-solving model designed to tackle the one thing we all deal with: human suffering. It's all based on the teachings of one man, Siddhartha Gautama.
Okay, let's dive right in. And you'll see our roadmap for today. It's kind of like a doctor's visit, really. We're going to start by identifying the symptoms of this universal condition, then we'll look at the diagnosis, the prognosis, and finally, the prescription for the cure.
All right, so where does this all start? Well, it begins with a guy named Siddhartha Gautama. Now, this wasn't just anybody. He was a prince, and his dad went to incredible lengths to shield him from everything. Any kind of hardship you can imagine. He literally lived in a bubble of pure luxury, totally clueless about the real world.
But you can't live in a bubble forever, right? So at age 29, his world gets completely turned upside down. He leaves the palace and has 4 encounters that just shatter his reality. For the first time, he sees an old man, a sick man, and a corpse. He's suddenly hit with the unavoidable truths of aging, illness, and death. But then he sees a 4th sight, a calm, peaceful ascetic monk. And this sparks a totally new idea. Maybe, just maybe, there's a way out of all this suffering. And that sent him on a quest to find it.
So fired up by this idea, Siddhartha spends the next 6 years trying everything. And I mean everything. He tried the most extreme methods, fasting until he was just skin and bones, holding his breath, enduring all kinds of pain. But nothing, no answers. And that's when he has this huge breakthrough. He realizes that a life of pure luxury didn't work, but this life of extreme self-denial wasn't the answer either. The path had to be somewhere in the middle. And this idea, the middle way, this path of balance, that became the core of his whole philosophy. It's what ultimately led to his enlightenment under the Bodhi tree.
Okay, so from that enlightenment, we get the philosophical core of his teachings, and what's so brilliant about it is how it's structured. It's basically a medical diagnosis for the human condition. We know them as the 4 Noble Truths. And here's that framework in action. It's so logical, it's beautiful. His very first teaching laid it all out, like a doctor diagnosing a patient. Step 1, identify the illness. 2, find out what's causing it. 3, confirm that a cure is even possible. And 4, write the prescription. It's a universal roadmap for anyone.
All right, first truth, the symptom. It's a word you might have heard, dukkha. Now, suffering is the common translation, but that doesn't really capture it. It's so much more than that. Think of it as that low-level, pervasive feeling of dissatisfaction, that constant unease, from tiny little annoyances to that deep, gut-wrenching dread about loss and death. The Buddha was saying, hey, this feeling, this is the baseline human condition. So if that's the symptom, what's the diagnosis? What's the cause? Well, the diagnosis points to one root cause: our craving, our attachment, our clinging to things. And why do we do that? It's because fundamentally, we're just misunderstanding how reality actually works. He said it boils down to 3 things, the 3 marks of existence. First, anicca, everything, and I mean everything, is impermanent. Nothing lasts. Second, dukkha, again, because we try to cling to these impermanent things as if they're permanent, we are guaranteed to suffer. It's a setup for disappointment. And third, anatta, this whole idea of a solid, permanent, unchanging me or self, it's an illusion. You see the chain reaction here? We misunderstand reality, which makes us cling, and that clinging is what causes all our suffering.
Okay, so that sounds a bit bleak, right? But here comes the good news. This is the prognosis. The third truth is the hope. It says yes, there is an end to suffering. A full recovery is possible. And the 4th truth? Well, that's the prescription. It's the practical, step-by-step guide on how to actually do it.
And here it is, the prescription itself, the Noble Eightfold Path. Now, don't get overwhelmed by the list. This isn't just 8 random rules. They're all interconnected, and they're brilliantly organized into 3 core areas of training: wisdom, morality, and concentration. Think of it like a complete, holistic workout plan for your entire being.
And this is maybe the most important thing to get about the path. It's not a ladder. You don't master step 1 and then move to step 2. It's a wheel, a reinforcing cycle. See, when you develop wisdom, it naturally guides you to act more ethically. And when you act ethically, your mind becomes calmer, which makes it way easier to concentrate. And, you guessed it, that deep concentration is what allows you to gain even deeper wisdom. Each part fuels the others. Okay, so let's zoom in on a huge piece of this puzzle, the central technique for cultivating both concentration and wisdom. We're talking about the hands-on training for the mind. We're talking about meditation.
So in this tradition, there are really two main kinds of meditation. And they're like two wings of a bird. You need both to fly. First up, you've got samatha, which you can think of as calm meditation. The whole point here is to train your mind to be stable and focused. It's like going to the gym for your attention span. Then you have vipassana, or insight meditation. Once you've got that calm, stable mind, you can use it as a kind of microscope to clearly observe reality, moment by moment. And that's how you get those profound, direct insights into the three marks of existence we talked about.
But think about it. You can't really build a stable, focused mind if your life is a total mess, right? That's why all this mental training is built on a solid ethical foundation, the 5 precepts. The logic here is super practical. If you're out there lying, stealing, or causing harm, your mind is going to be agitated. It's going to be turbulent. So these precepts, they're not just moral rules, they're training guidelines designed to create inner peace. They make your mind a calm, fertile ground where meditation can actually take root.
All right, so we've got the diagnosis, the prescription, the training, but what's the end game? What's the ultimate goal of all this? Well, it's about breaking free. It's about escaping what's seen as an endless, repetitive, and ultimately unsatisfying cycle of suffering.
That cycle has a name: samsara. And the engine that keeps that wheel of samsara spinning? It's karma. Now, it's really important to understand that karma isn't some cosmic judge or fate. It's simply the law of cause and effect applied to our intentions. The actions we choose to take, both good and bad, create ripples that shape the conditions of our future experiences. And that cycle just keeps going, life after life, all of it driven by our craving and our misunderstanding of reality.
And this brings us to one of the most misunderstood ideas: rebirth. This quote just nails it. It's not about some permanent soul that hops from one body to the next. The candle analogy is perfect. It's like lighting a new candle from an old one. The flame on the new candle isn't the exact same flame, but it's not totally different either. It was caused by the first one. It's a transfer of energy, a continuation of a process, all without a fixed, unchanging self making the journey.
So the ultimate goal, the great escape from samsara, is called nirvana. And that word literally means to extinguish or to blow out. But what are we extinguishing? Not your life, not your personality. You're extinguishing the fires of greed, hatred, and ignorance, the very fuel for our suffering. So it's not a heaven up in the clouds. It's a state of being, a state of profound peace, total freedom, and the complete final end of dukkha.
And what's so incredible is that you don't have to become a monk in a cave to see how relevant this stuff is today. That core practice of insight meditation, vipassana, has been adapted into totally secular, science-backed programs like mindfulness-based stress reduction or MBSR. You'll find it being used in hospitals, clinics, and businesses all over the world. It's a testament to how practical these 2,500-year-old techniques really are, even when you strip away all the religious context.
And that really brings us to our final thought. If you think about it, this whole system is presented as a universal diagnosis and a universal prescription for a universal condition. So the real question to leave you with is this: what parts of this ancient treatment plan, this incredible roadmap for the mind, might still be useful for navigating your own life right here, right now?